Hello, it's me again. I'm right at the top of the town. I don't know if you can see it. If I go around the back now, I'm going to walk down out of the sun in a minute because it's quite bright up here. But if I come around, the sun's going to get in your eyes. But there's this place up here. It's amazing. It's like it says Radio Salobrena. There's an idea. And presumably it was a radio station at some time. And down there is towards the sea, and that's the newer town up there. But I'm right in the heart of the older part of town here. So if I come down, I come out of the sun from out, because the sun's coming over and it's coming over the top of the rock, and I'm right at the top of the rock, and it's one of those typical Andalusian white villages, this old part of the town. And you can see where we are, the Mirador Enrique Morente, and there's a little thing of his over here, which is quite good actually. If I come over this way, and I look a bit, I probably won't get this very well, but down there is the rock, as I said, and it shows you how high we are. I'm staying in the house I'm staying is part of the white village here, which looks absolutely stunning from outside, because the first time I ever saw it, I remember driving on the road, which is over there, which is the main road over there. And I don't know if you can see the hills, they might be starting to come into focus. That's sort of like some of the foothills, I suppose, of the Sierra Nevada, and down below me is what they call the Vega, I think. It's one of those places where they've done a lot of growing. They're still growing. They're actually developing part of it. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. Hopefully they're not going to destroy it too much, because it's quite a nice area. I'm going to walk down here, because the Alcazar, the castle, is behind me, up the top there. So I'm going to go and see that in a minute, and then I'm going to walk down the steps that go down the bottom, and then down to that road, and then over to the area down there, which is, there's a white village, which you might be able to see at the end there, up here. It's called La Caleta. I did walk there before, and there's a big sugarcane factory, because they used to do a lot of sugarcane manufacturing, and they grow a lot of mangoes and things like that, as I said. Anyway, I can't remember where I was talking about now. Yes, the village, the first time I ever saw it was coming along the road, driving along here for a holiday, probably about 10 years ago actually, and saw this rock, and on top of it is the castle where I'm going shortly. I didn't go there last year because it wasn't open. They were doing some renovations. The big crane and all that's gone now, but immediately thought, wow, that looks a pretty amazing place. So that's one of the reasons that we came back down on that beach below me, because there's two beaches. There's that one down there below, and then you go where the rock is. There's another long beach which goes right the way up the coast that way as well. This one down here is a bit more sort of big pebbles, and the other one's sort of coarse sand. So you've got a choice as well. So yes, the first time I saw it, I came here, and this is one of the reasons that I like the look of it, because it's that classic Andalusian sort of style. But so I've just clambered up here, and it's just a bit of a climb even at this time of the morning. It's only like 10 o'clock in the morning, but everything opens so late. As I said, possibly in a comment somewhere before, that it doesn't get light until daylight isn't until about 8 o'clock. The sun doesn't rise till just for 8 o'clock. And you think, that's quite late really. Maybe they ought to alter their clocks. I know they talked about it going in line with Britain, because if you think about it, they're pretty much on the same, is it latitude or is it longitude? I can't remember. I think it's longitude. The same, pretty much the same as us. So you don't really need that hour. And if I remember rightly, Portugal doesn't have that hour. Anyway, that's another story altogether. So yeah, so I've been here a couple of days, and actually yesterday was quite interesting, because when we first came here as a family years ago, we stayed in a place called Orgiva, which is up in the hills over there, in the real foothills in the Upper Harris, which are the real foothills of the Sierra Nevada. And we stayed with a family for a number of years actually in one of their properties with a pool, Claire and Ainsley. And I was lucky enough to actually meet Ainsley yesterday, because he was around, so always got on well. So we met up in Salobrena and had a couple of drinks and a good chat, for probably getting on for a couple of hours and catching up on things. But it's very nice to sort of talk to someone properly in some sort of sense, I suppose, rather than just sort of stilted conversations here and there, quite often in a broken Spanish. So yes, so what am I going to do today? As I said, I'm going to walk down to La Caleta down there, and then back along the beach and into the town, and then see what the fancy takes me. Because the weather, as I mentioned before, the weather's been a bit strange. Yesterday it was quite blowy. But one thing I will say actually, when we had that bit of rain the other day, I was sitting in the restaurant, as I said, and everyone's getting excited by this sort of 20-minute burst of rain, and it wasn't even particularly heavy. But at the same time, because the clouds are all behind here, over in that direction, over towards, there's a couple of towns over in that way, one's called La Herradura, and one's called Almuñeca, I believe it is. And I was thinking about going there, but they're a bit built up and touristy, which this place isn't. It's yes, there are tourists here, but and there are a few expats, whether they be British, Germans, Dutch, or whatever. But there aren't many of them, and they all come here because they like the feel of the place, and it's still got a real old Spanish feel, even though they might be developing it. But this will be for Spanish people. This won't be for holiday makers. And that's I'm not absolutely sure what they're doing anyway. So yes, so I'm going to go down and walk along the beach and have a look. And as I said, but so interesting, yeah, good. I'm enjoying it. It's quite nice, as I said, to sort of do something a little bit different and wander around. I'll come down, wander down these stairs because they built this obviously a while ago in memory of this particular person, Enrique Morente. And is it saying here? Yeah, 2012 it was built, and this is like a little mirador. And I've just seen sort of locals sort of standing here doing that. And that's one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, actually, with Ainsley, is the way that they do things over here. And these things don't get vandalised. You don't see groups of marauding drunkards around. And he said that in Augiver, and he's lived up there for about 20 odd years, the only time he's ever seen a fight to do with alcohol was with two Brits rolling around in the gutter. He said, and the Spanish were just looking at them as just saying, why on earth are you doing that? You know, they like to drink as much as anyone else. But as I said, and that's why I like the feel of this place, and he said the same, and everybody else has said the same about here. I mean, there are other places as well which have got that nice feel to it. So I'm going to go and have my walk. The steps down from the Alcazar itself are a bit, well, they're not treacherous, but at the bottom they get a bit dodgy, and I fell over last year. And cut myself. I thought, oh god, in the middle of nowhere, that would have been a bit of a disaster. So there you go. But actually, I've just remembered something I was going to talk about, and I keep chopping and changing. Sorry, but during that little rainstorm, if you want to call it that, I said the hills behind was where all the rain was, but I was looking out towards over there, the Herradura, etc., and the sun set was stunning. The colours were absolutely amazing, and there's this sort of dual thing going on, raining but looking over there and watching this amazing sunset. And yesterday, because the way that the wind had sort of broken, I suppose the rain had sort of changed the climate very slightly, the lights was as clear as I've ever, absolutely crystal clear, far more so than today actually, and it was amazing. You could sort of reach out and touch the hills, absolutely stunning. So anyway, I'm going to go and see if I can get into the castle, see if they'll let me in, or more importantly if they'll let me out, and then go for my little walk. Anyway, hopefully I shall speak to you again some other time. Adios.